This is the California Association of Realtors Short Sale Listing Addendum. We're going to cover it in reverse order because it seems to be the order people cared about most when I did over 200 short sales. Credit. We're going to talk about how all these workouts affect your credit, and we're going to use this document to lay the groundwork and so I can explain it to you. I'm a broker and attorney. The California Association of Realtors actually had me train realtors on how to do short sales and how to negotiate multiple offers. Now, this is really well written, and I know it's backwards. We're going to do a series. Today, we're going to talk about credit, and we're going to discuss the broker role to some degree. And I think I should just explain the broker role first, but then we'll go to credit, because otherwise you're not going to understand why they wrote what they wrote. A real estate broker cannot give legal or tax advice in connection with any of the options available to the broker, nor can the broker suggest what is the best course of action for the owner. It's very important to understand. Short sale is just a tool, and it's frequently not it can be the best tool if executed, but it's frequently not the best. And when only 50% or less, it's usually less than realtor negotiation short sales close, you better have a backup plan. So just because you think it's better, and it might be better for some people, it's not your only option, and it shouldn't be used that way. Unfortunately, the owner is faced with extremely difficult choices, having a lasting impact on the owner, unquestionably. Owners are strongly cautioned, again, they're going to say it again, you must seek legal and tax advice. There's a reason why they're saying this. In what is not only a choice impacting taxes and credit, right? So they're saying this is very important with credit. Short sales not that good for your credit, but also personal issues. This is where I know the lawyers doing this and counseling this are really well informed and know the issues and have seen it play out. They've seen realtor mistakes, but they've also counseled people in their office, most likely, unless they're savants. I've had so many people on the phone or in my office in which the emotional person was the man. I know sometimes women are emotional. I'm married. I have a daughter. I understand what people would expect, but there's something about a man when he feels like he's not being the provider. Not all men, perhaps, but a lot of the men I spoke with, when they weren't paying, it was either very clinical or very emotional. Clinical is the people who already knew the law and understood things. Frequently, they were mortgage people themselves, sometimes realtors themselves. But other people, you really should do this soon, because so many people squandered retirement accounts and their life savings and didn't really get a better result. The banks were hammering you. It was over, and it was just an unnecessary drain on your resources, and the banks didn't care. Right? So don't, I can tell you, I had people who would start tears of happiness and joy when they found out what the worst was, and we could start rebuilding. And we laid it out that way. This is the worst thing that can happen. We're going to try to do better, but you can start building today. We're going to make sure they don't go to your assets. We're going to follow the peel off, the 7 bites of the apple. And if the worst comes to worst, we're going to rely on 580B, and the bank's not going to get your assets. And the bank is not, and the tax man's not going to come after you. And our only job here is to make sure we don't commit fraud, right? If you don't commit fraud and you let me know, you follow along with me, and you ask me questions, you're going to be okay. And, that also gave us leverage and power over the banks to get better deals, because we could explain to the banks where we were and why the law was protecting us, and that we're not like they are. Let's say they're in another state. They're like, my client is not going to lose money whether you foreclose. Once you foreclose, you're going to get this back in over a year, and it's going to be probably a lot less money for your investor. So you should be working with us now. I could go over and over all those different angles, but it's personal issues affecting the owner and the owner's family. No doubt about it. The broker's role is to assist the owner in the actual sale of the property. That is it. That is their role. Assist in the sale of the property, just like a realtor always is. In a short sale transaction, assist the actual sale of the property in a short sale transaction, not provide legal or tax advice or to guarantee the best possible outcomes for all the parties, because a short sale does not do that without the proper leverage. If you do a normal realtor negotiated short sale, your credit's going to get hammered. It doesn't have to. It might, but it doesn't have to. There are other options. You'd like to avoid the Metro 2 score. I have to write it down because it's legally settled in full for less than the full amount. You want to avoid that if you can. You want to use your leverage to avoid it. That's going to happen after a short sale. And this is how we transition into taxes. Some lenders don't see foreclosure any different than short sale. It could be 2 to 7 years before your credit is sufficient for them willing to make a loan to you. And other lenders have actually said, and it still doesn't go away, we still see it. Other lenders will say, this person tried to work with us, so they did a short sale. We are willing to lend to them after 2 to 5 years. So some see it as the same as a foreclosure. Some see it as better. Very odd things happen. Sometimes my clients who just want to move on with their life had a walkaway plan, took a short sale, got the letters we had, sending them, to the people going after them, told them to cease and desist. As soon as the short sale filed, they disputed the debt. They said, do not report. And some of those people escaped with far less damage to their credit than people who did short sales, who even used the same methods, because the short sales took so long, their credit got hammered for late so long that even though we could sometimes negotiate a way that settled for less than full balance for Mark, they still got hammered. So it's not always that short sales better. It really depends on your goals. Like a lot of people would now, because there's an extra almost half a year on the timeline. A lot of people are like, I could live in my property for another year before I pay a dime. I'll let if I don't have to owe the bank and I don't have to owe taxes, I'll let my credit get hammered. I'll save up $50,000 to $100,000. So there are tremendous opportunities to leverage. Now, this is an interesting thing. I just want to get to it. Seller authorizes broker to do some things like put the market for sale, advertise it as a short sale. But I would cross this out. Advertising MLS and other advertising mediums. Here it is. And seller agrees to give broker any necessary information to negotiate with lenders. I would cross that out. You're going to give the information you think is necessary. If the lender comes back and asks for more and you don't want to give it to them, you don't give it to them. I want you to know one of the risks is on your shorts, any of the applications where you're trying to state a hardship and they're looking at your assets, you're giving the lender a roadmap to your assets. If you have a recourse lender and they can come after you for the money, you've just given the roadmap to your assets to their collection department. So you might not want to do that. You also don't want to give them something now that conflicts with something that you gave them when you wanted to get the loan, because that would be fraud. And some lenders were sending out the files, both files, to their quality assurance or whatever they were calling those departments. So you want to be careful. There's many people that we would do loan workouts with them and said, we'll do whatever as long as we don't have to provide our assets. And I was like proud of those people. I'm like, yes, let's do our best job. Let's get leverage against the lenders, but let's not ruin your future. So I was like, those people understood. And some of them had already seen all that on our website. And that's what they came in and told us they were going to do. And I was like, wow, this is cool. We went back and we discussed the credit. So anything can happen to your credit, but, and now we'll go, some of these alternatives to a short sale might allow us to help you have potentially better. It's all probabilities. A probable outcome, you might have a credit outcome that could be superior to a short sale in some circumstances. Like, I'm a lawyer. I'm not going to tell you. I'll go over the circumstances with you, but it could take a long time. But that's why we're going to do this in the next videos. I'm going to go over some of the tools and how we might use them to get your short sale done without providing your finances or with the goal of minimizing the risk to your credit. So my name is John McConnin. This is the first video in our series. I see it as very useful for people who are upside down. That'd be if you owe less, or you're somewhere where maybe you could sell your home for more, but by the time you're paying all these realtor expenses and closing costs, you're probably upside down. Again, most important advice, make sure you have a separate written agreement that says that you can provide your realtor that allows you to get out at any time in case you want to do an alternative. And I'll tell you what, I probably should have said this earlier, but if you're seeing this, I'm going to put it up on YouTube. The definite way to get this is to go to our website and call or ask for it. If you're seeing this on Facebook, I will set up my software. If you ask for the agreement, we'll get it to you that you want before you work with a realtor. But I don't know why you do that. If you go to the website, or you ask, I could also, if you fill out our form, let me show you our form. If you're willing to fill this out, whether on the net or over the phone, we'll go over your options with you, and we'll even show you how we would sequence those out. We'll give you the best options and why, and we'll do it for free. I explain it to you. So we call that our recourse, non-recourse analysis. In the past, it was $300. This is like 10 or 15 years ago, or it became part of a $997 package. Right now, we'll give you, for your peace of mind, perhaps the most important part of the package for free if you fill out, and we have a few more questions. I just didn't want to put them on the web. But you fill out the questions so I can analyze the situation. I'll give you your options. So you should know your options at UpsideDownRealEstate.com. Thank you.